Tropical cyclone Sean has developed off the Pilbara coast this morning and will continue to intensify as we move through the afternoon and evening hours, and cyclone warnings are current. Firstly, a quick look at what's happened overnight and this morning. We can see that thunderstorm development around the low really intensified and solidified around the low level circulation early this morning, and we're getting some pretty nice structure on the radar as well, showing us that we are looking at reaching cyclone strength activity, and a number of our offshore obs are also gusting in excess of 100 kilometres an hour. So that means that we have now got Tropical Cyclone Sean developing off the Pilbara coast and continuing to intensify as it moves southwest parallel to the Pilbara coast. So let's look at all of that right now. Cyclone warnings are current between Wim Creek and Ningaloo. That does include the communities of Exmouth, Onslow and Karratha. Winds and rain already picking up through the Dampier and Karratha area, likely to also increase later today into tonight through the Onslow and Exmouth area, and also our offshore islands where we could see destructive winds develop later today and into tonight. So as we get into the overnight period, we'll see it continue to strengthen into a Category 2 system, probably sitting somewhere off the Exmouth coast as we get into the early hours of Monday morning. And then it'll continue to move further away, thankfully, but continue to intensify as we move into the Monday timeframe. And by Monday afternoon, we could have a Category 3 system sitting well offshore the WA coast, but still could see some heavy rain and strong and gusty winds through parts of the Pilbara coast. So with those warnings current, we can see this in more detail if we look at the rain and wind field. By later this afternoon, Category 1 Sean should be sitting a fair way off the Pilbara coast, but you can see this really strong onshore wind and rain activity. We've seen falls of around 80 millimetres at Port Hedland, and those kind of numbers will continue to track further down the coast as all this rain and wind offshore wraps around the system and impacts our coastal communities through the Pilbara coast today and to tonight. And then we'll see as we move into Monday, Category 2, then Category 3 system. But note that wind field and rain and storms coming right down into the northwest capes. That's where we could see some damaging to possibly locally destructive winds, particularly for our offshore islands. But our coastal communities are likely to see widespread heavy rain that could lead to flash flooding, as well as damaging winds, which could bring down trees, power lines, and cause some minor property damage. But thankfully, being a fast-moving system and moving away from the WA coast, we're likely to see it conditions ease as we get into Monday night and Tuesday morning for much of the Pilbara. But still looking at a fairly intense tropical cyclone, but thankfully well offshore. Now, all this rainfall, we could see falls of 50 to 100 millimetres along our coastal communities and particularly our offshore islands. And as I mentioned, that could lead to flash and riverine flooding. And because of that, we do have a few flood warnings current, flood watches, I should say, current for parts of the Pilbara coast and also up through that community. So to reiterate, tropical cyclone warnings are current between Wim Creek and Ningaloo. That does include Exmouth, Onslow and Karratha. Currently in Category 1 system, likely to strengthen into a Category 2 and a Category 3 as we move during Monday. So if you live in this area or know someone that does, make sure you stay up to date with the latest forecasts and warnings via our website, app and social media, and listen to all and any advice from your local emergency services.